Welcome to another edition of the Breakthrough Podcast. I am your host, Reba, and today I am coming straight to you on a early morning rising. I usually do this on Mondays, but I'm doing it on a Sunday just because I feel great and I feel like the weekend has went great, and I want to go to the early service because I don't have my kids usually on weekends, but this is the first weekend I am by myself. Haven't had them since Christmas. We're reverse back. I've had them either one or the other, both, since they came back home for the new year on the weekends. So with things happening with both of their fathers and schedules and stuff like that, you guys know how it goes, co-parenting. So I had both of them, either one of both or one of the other. So I am feeling great. And I think I'm going to do it today only because, and sometimes I'm going to do it on Sundays because, like I was telling you guys 2 weeks ago, I think I swamped myself because of this new job I have, which I absolutely love. The new job I have, we only off on Sundays and Mondays. So what that means is everything on Mondays I cram in with the podcast, my business, and everything I got to do as a mother. Errands, doctor's appointments. So instead of doing that to myself again, because I think tomorrow we got a couple of things to do, I'm busy tomorrow, I said, why not record today? I feel great. I'm getting ready to get ready for church. I'm going to work out, get ready for church. I'm going to the first service since I don't have the kids, and then schedule the rest of my day until the kids come home. So we're here. We are here. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Guys, continue to listen and share this platform on YouTube because we're getting our YouTube clips up. If you go on there, go on my YouTube page and go to my shorts. I've been doing some little shorts. I'm trying to figure out YouTube and what they got going on. So I'm trying to grow there in that platform there. You guys are honestly perfect here. We are, if you're listening to me right now, you're on Apple or you're on Anchor. You're listening to one or the other. So, or you could be listening on YouTube too. But YouTube is the platform that we're trying to grow. So we want to continue to grow this platform. We really want to continue to do what God is allowing us to do. And I'm just excited about this platform, period, because I know that God is instilling in me everything to tell you guys, to grow you guys. And if you notice, we changed our icon picture. My brother is a great designer, but he lives in Japan. So he made both of my my icons. So he made those about a year ago. I used the first one, which was purple, because we are still doing domestic violence, and that's what we're gearing towards. That's what we were gearing towards, but now we're gearing towards more healing. And so I did the little teal green because I love green for healing, and we think about green. So I hope you guys like it. Leave me a comment if you like the new icon with my picture. I have to get some new headshots soon. So those are the same headshots from almost 2 years ago. But hey, they work out. We're doing this platform and we are loving it. And so those headshots work out. We're gonna get some new ones. We got some new things running. So if you are listening and you know someone that wants to subscribe to my page, you can go to Reba Hobbs 12, RebaHobbs.com. I'm giving you my email, Lord. You can email me. If you want to email me, it's RebaHobbs12@gmail.com to send me a message, personal message. But the people that's on this platform already know you get sent out everything that I do every week, what's up and coming, what I'm doing. You guys know first. So if you're on the subscriber list, you know personally first because you get my email every week. I love doing that. I haven't did the clips yet I think I am going to start doing the clips with a book. I had told you guys a week ago that I think I'm going to do extra podcast recording with the clips. And I think I decided it's going to be a book, an insert from a book. So be patient with me. I got a lot of things I got going on with working in with this and the ideas and the creativity, what God has want me to do on this platform. So we got a lot of new things running. We got a lot of new things we're doing. Also, I am currently volunteering for an adoption agency. Well, not adoption agency, but I am a volunteer for adoption agency. So I help adopt a family on whatever they need, instead of me adopting a child, because I'm not adopting anymore. I mean, I'm not having any more kids. I do that on the side. I'm about to start doing that on the side now, working with an adoption family. And what it is just me going and helping them on what they need, whatever they need, cooking, cleaning. And it's my time. It's me volunteering time just for adoptive family. Also, what I also do, so I have a lot on my plate. Of course, you guys know, if people don't know, I have 2 kids, a teenager and a toddler. And I call her, she going to 5, I'm going to 50. But whatever. Also, in that time frame of taking care of my 2 kids and co-parenting with their fathers, I am also volunteering with my church. I volunteer with my church with a compassion ministry. I'm a part of that. I'm the liaison over some programs there. And I also do my coaching business there through my church. Every other Wednesday, me and my students get together, and everything I teach with my coaching class on how to heal from domestic violence, I pretty much teach on a spiritual basis, more of a platform, a spiritual basis, and it goes off of my book. But sometimes we don't go off the book. We go off of what God gives me, because I'm guided by the Holy Spirit. But what's so amazing in that class, this week we did vision boards. I had them do vision boards the last 2 weeks. And so one of the students brought her vision board back, and it was so beautiful. And it was just so inspiring to see them see where their future and where their future want to be in a year. So I was so excited. That's my first time doing the vision boards with my students. I've been doing vision boards for years. So I incorporate the vision boards with my students. And so I was happy about that. It was like they really showed up and showed out. And so that was amazing to me. So I'm happy about that. It was something else I wanted to say I'm doing. Oh, of course, you guys know I am. My goal is to 10 books due this year. I am starting today. We're going to talk about the first book I'm starting on. The first book actually technically is the Bible, but that's not including with the 10 books. The Bible, I already put it on my vision board and my goals that I'm reading the Bible more intensely and in-depthly. So that's, of course, my goal this year, but the Bible is one of the books I'm starting on. I've been started on, but one of my books I'm starting on today, I'm going to tell you, and I think this is the book we're going to do the inserts from. So why not start on it and talk about it and talk about what God put on my heart, and then we'll get right into it. If I remember what I said I do something else. So I'm just making sure you know that I am very busy, but I love this platform and what God has sent me and God has given me, because I feel like you have a purpose for everything. And that's the kind of the gist of my podcast today. You have a purpose for everything. And I really feel like when God places something in me, he gives me so much more. And he feeds me up with so much more that I just want to get so much out that certain times I have to be patient and wait and say, okay, it's not the time. And other times I just got to dig deep and do the work. And I promise you guys, this year, in just these 20-some days, oh, yes, I have been tested. And that's going to be for another time. It may be in a book. Of course, you guys know I'm writing 2 books right now. And so that'll be for another time. Oh, back to what I was saying. Okay. I'm so excited because we have our first guest of the year, which is going to be in February. Our first guest of the year is going to be in February. This is a special person that I've known for years. I've been knowing her since I was 7. I got to know her more through my old church or whatever and have a relationship with her. She's my my daughter's godmother. I am so excited to bring her on. She's so powerful. She has so much. In the years that I've been knowing her, she has so much that she's bringing, and she's been in school. She's a therapist. I'll just let you all guys know about it later. But she is going to be the first guest of the year, because you guys know I said I was going to do more guests. I'm going to do more guests on this platform. God is inspiring me to bring up more people that is doing the things that he want us to do in the world, and create and know more about people that is following him. So she's my first guest. Got to place a part of my heart to do her in February. As you guys know, I do February is the love month. I do themes every month. January, we're pretty much talking about mindset. So because it's the beginning of the year, we're talking about mindset. Of course, February is for Valentine's Day, so it's love month. But I talk about love in a different way. I talk about self-care. I also talk about relationships. I talk about you loving yourself. I also talk about your purpose, and, we just surround around love. So she will be the first guest in the first week of our podcast. So I'm so excited to do that interview with her. She's one of many, many, many spiritual mentors, women that I had in the past, that I've grown to know, that I've grown to admire. So much about her is she's just beautiful inside and out to me. And she knows the Reba that y'all didn't know. The one I talk about from the past, she knows that Reba. So to watch me grow, I am so honored to have her on my show. So I'm so excited about that, guys. So look forward to that. In the next coming 2 weeks, we'll be doing that. So also, I think that was it. But we're going to wrap it up with that. Back into what I was saying, your purpose. Okay, so me doing this platform, and me doing my books, and me doing my podcast, and some more other things that God is allowing me to do, I came to this acknowledgement, I could probably tell you, years ago. Okay, I never knew I was going to do a podcast. I never knew I was going to write books, honestly, to tell you the truth. I've always told you that my current husband right now, he encouraged me to write my first book, and then, that kind of put to the second book and stuff like that. And that was because when we met 10 years ago, he encouraged me to write my story because he felt like I had a powerful story to tell to the world. Well, technically in between that time, maybe a little bit before that time, my mother always told me I had a purpose for my life. She always knew God had a purpose for my life. And that's because if you read in my second book, my near-death experiences, I had at least 5. I can't even remember. I think it's 7, but at least 5. And so my mother always encouraged me that God always had a plan for my life. Didn't know what it was. I think I told you guys I related to Moses. When I was in college, I wrote a paper about Moses and how he was trying to run away from his calling because he felt like he wasn't good enough. And y'all know that's my character. Moses is my man. So I relate to him so much because I felt like, not because I had a stutter or anything. You guys know I talk fast. I kind of mumble sometimes. I don't even like hearing myself talk. When my son listens to my podcast every week, I'd be like, oh my God, I hate my voice. Whatever. We're here. I'm doing what God told me to do. So those are things about me in the past that I kind of knew where I was going, but I didn't. And I'm going to say I didn't because if I did not follow what God told me to do, and there's many times I strayed, there's many times I got off track. I promise you, I wish I was doing this earlier. I wish, it's not just the podcast, it's other things that I felt like I should have been doing at an earlier stage with God. I didn't want to miss what God was telling me to do. Once I realized that our purpose is not for us, it's for other people, and our purpose is we on the limited time. If everybody knows, we are on limited time. God has a purpose for and a plan for our lives, a destination until he calls us home or until he comes back, one or the other. I literally am on the path to do everything, and I mean everything, that he has called me to do, that he wants me to do, regardless of regardless of what others think. Because I feel like with everything I've been through, with everything that I struggled with, me being homeless twice, me being abused, you know my story. I don't use it as a bad thing. I use it as a glory and a testimony to help other people. And it's a purpose for everything. He's still sending me through purposes. Because as long as I'm here and I'm living, and I want to tell you guys, you have a purpose for your life. And I remember talking about purpose last year. So we're going to go into it again. Which starts me off on the book. The book I want you guys to look up, get, I don't care. This is about my third or fourth time reading this book. And it's the reason why I say third or fourth time, because I go back to it and I revert back to what I wrote. I have a journal that goes with it, and I revert back to what I wrote, and I revert back to what was told to me, and making sure that I was on the right track. I do it to make sure I'm hearing from God, and it's not something I want to do. Because a lot of times when we're walking in God and we think that God is telling us to do something, we'll use that. And God is not telling us to do that. Sometimes God tells us to wait on stuff. He will say yes to stuff. He will say yes to a mission or a purpose that he has for your life. But he do say not now. We just jump at the first sign of he's saying this, but he might be saying wait. Because only God gives you yes, no, or wait. Okay? Sometimes when we don't hear an answer, it's just wait. Sometimes he's not telling us no. He's just telling us to wait. And sometimes he does say no. Okay? During this time, I am fasting. I'm still fasting. Yes, guys. I'm on a 21-day fast. I am still fasting. I am still doing it diligently. Yes, it gets hard sometimes. Fasting is not supposed to be easy. It gets harder than other days, because of certain days that I'm thinking with stuff. And last week, I had a day. Last week that I promise you, I'm being vulnerable and transparent to you. I was just like, I don't think I want to do this fast no more. If I'm going to go through all this and be going through all this in one day, And that was at the moment I had to call my dad. And my dad had to get me back in line. And he loved on me, and he understood, and he poured into me, and I was back. I was like, okay, that's what I need to hear. Sometimes we need that. Like I was telling you guys about accountability last week. You need that person to be like, all right, you going on the edge. My daddy sometimes said that before you talk yourself off the ledge or whatever he says to me. He knows me. So I have to have the reassurance and accountability that I'm doing the right thing and I'm standing on the right track. Because I promise you, this walk with Christ is such a beautiful walk. And in doing this fast, God has talked to me in an audible voice at least twice that I know of. I love doing fast because I told you guys it's like a highlighter. But make it long story short, I'm still fasting. I am still here. Hey, we're still doing this. We're doing it for the Lord. I'm loving it. I'm loving what he's telling me. I'm loving what I'm hearing. And it's not easy, but we're here. Okay. So the book I want you to get, and I'm excited it's called The Purpose Driven Life. If anybody knows about The Purpose Driven Life, people, that's my listeners, it's by Rick Warren. What on earth am I here for? His old copy, I have his oldest copy, but his old copy is like a purple, gold, green cover. His new copy, I think, is white and purple. Whatever. It's people make re-editions. This book is the book. Okay? It is the book because it gives you so much to think about. It gives you so much. And that's why I go back to it, because you may lose things. We forget things. And I have written, highlighted, wrote down things. I have a journal that goes with it. And I was so happy because 10 years ago, my mother-in-law gave me this book. And it has never left my side. Everywhere I went, it came. So, I am starting it over. So, for the podcast inserts, we're going to have Small Talks with Reba. That's what it's going to be called, something to that platform. And I'm going to tell you certain inserts from the book and piggyback on it. It's going to be less than 15 minutes. And it's going to be on here and it's going to be on YouTube. I decided to just do it on both because it's just easier to do the clips. And I want my listeners, my faithful listeners that's on Anchor and Apple, to understand that I am still here and it's not just about YouTube. But YouTube, yes, I love YouTube. We got to get YouTube up. That's just the goal for this year. Okay? The goal is to get YouTube up, subscribers, likes, shares, 5 stars on Apple, rate, comment. You can do anything. You don't like an episode? Tell me you don't like an episode. I can actually see the analytics of the highest episodes, okay? One of my highest episodes is Healing from Your Trauma Bond. So I think I might do that one again because you guys like this. Still number one. One of my number one episodes, Healing from Trauma Bond. So I guess you guys want to hear that. So I love that. So, and throughout the year, I'll tell you what the highest episodes, but Healing from a Trauma Bond been number one for a while. So I see what you guys like and don't like and listen to and don't listen to. It's fine. I want to start with the purpose-driven life only because it is beginning of the new year. It's going to help me. This is something I want to do. It's going to help me do what I have to do in this calling, in this phase of this branding of my business this year, the marketing, me hiring more people. I want a clear vision on what God wants me to do with this. And I feel like this book will help me. Every year we have a different purpose. Even though our purpose is made, a goal and our purpose is the same. Every year we have a different goal. I'll say that. Every year we have a different goal, but our purpose never changes with God. Think about that. Every year, that's number one on this podcast today. Every year you have a different goal, but your purpose never changes. Okay. So, since I have a different goal every year, but my purpose never changes, I'm going back and I'm going to read and I'm going to in-depthly remember. And I love reading. I have so many journals that I reread what I wrote from years ago. Like, oh my God, I said that. There are papers I wrote in college that I remember writing, saying what I want to do. I'm actually doing it now and forgot about those papers. I'm going through my Google emails and I was deleting things because it got full. And I found out I'm on the right track. I'll say that. I just got to stay focused on what God wants me to do because I'm going to grow. And as much as I'm growing, I'm taking you guys with me. So the first insert I want to talk about, it starts with God. I love how Rick Warren absolutely wants you to know that everything absolutely above and below, visible and invisible, everything you got started in him, it finds its purpose in him. And of course, that's from Colossians 1:16. So I'm going to read a little insert and then we're going to wrap it up. Okay. He starts with, it's not about you. The purpose of your life is far greater than your own personal fulfillment, your peace, or even your happiness. It's far greater than your family, your career, or even your wildest dreams and ambitions. If you want to know why you was placed on this planet, you must begin with God. You were born by his purpose for his purpose. We're going to stop there. So, that is the first insert I'm going to do, but I'm going to do more inserts this week. But that's the first insert I'm going to do on this podcast. And the purpose of you having a purpose, and we're going to talk about you having a purpose because I need you guys to really think back years, months, weeks on why are you doing what you're doing today? Why do you think you're doing what you're doing today? Why do you think, and what do you think, even if you're doing what God called you to do, or whatever your purpose is, what do you think he is inspiring you to do to help others? Because at the end of the day, it's not about us just being on this earth. It's about others. I use my goals, my testimonies, my trials, and my tribulations as exercises, as examples to help other people on this platform, on other platforms that I have. I only want what God wants for my life. And I'm at the point in my life, going on 40 this year, if God don't want me to have it, I don't want it in my life. I've got to a place in my life personally that whatever, all the craziness and everything we've been through in the last 2 years and 3 years for this pandemic and the recession and looks like I'm going to depression and whatever it is, that I am still, even if the recession in 2023, I am still designed and called to do what God told me to do. That doesn't stop me, and that shouldn't stop you. We still have to live every day. As long as you wake up and God put breath in your body, you have a purpose for your life. You just got to find out what it is. Not willy-nilly saying, I'm just going to work a job. That's fine, but there's a purpose and a calling in it. Not willy-nilly saying, well, I need income and I need this. Sometimes your purpose is not even attached to money. I promise you that. It may be your purpose is designed and attached to something else that's a part of your heart, and God will provide the finances. I am an experience. I am a witness of that. Okay? But it's so much fulfillment in doing exactly what you love doing, what God told you to do first, and what you love doing. And it also is a fulfillment in helping other people. Everybody got a story. You have a testimony just as well as I do. I'm not anybody special. I am special because I am God's. But I'm not anybody special to just say that you're not more, I'm more special than you are if you're listening. I'm not. You technically have a purpose for your life since you were born. I don't care if you're a teenager, a kid listening to this, a teenager, an adult, a mid-age adult, an older adult. Long as you wake up every day, God has you here for a purpose. You could be like my son in high school. Whatever your talents, your gifts are, I could talk to teenagers. And I could tell you not what your purpose is, but I could tell you how to guide to see your purpose. With your gifts, start with your gifts, your talents. Because he talks about gifts and talents in the Bible. God gave us gifts and talents for a reason. There are many things I'm talented in I don't tell people because I don't do it for a job. Everybody that knows, I know how to cook. I went to culinary school, but I knew how to cook before I went to culinary school. Culinary school was just something to just put under my belt to say, I went to culinary school. It just enhanced my cooking, okay? Everybody knows. I don't do that for a career. I tried to do it for a career. Don't get me wrong. I worked in hospitals and restaurants the early 20s of my life. Couldn't do it. It's not something that God wanted me to do. And a lot of family members and friends found out I was not going into cooking as a chef no more. And why you not cook? It doesn't matter. I'm still talented at cooking. That don't mean I have to be a chef. What I'm doing right now is my purpose. How I'm living out my life is my purpose. I'm not perfect. I'm not, a person that gets up every day and say, yes, I'm living in my purpose. Sometimes it's hard when you live in your purpose. Let's be real. Let's break it down. It's very hard to live in your purpose and follow God and say, oh, God has me on this path, because you have the same trials and things hitting you every day that you have to stay focused, because sometimes it'll throw you off track and be like, what am I doing this for? Okay. It's not world of gold, but it's so worth it. If you stay focused on what God is telling you to do. You're in high school, stay in high school, finish your education. You never know where it's going to lead you. You want to go to college, focus on college by your junior and senior year. And you never know where that's going to lead you. God places people and things in our life at certain destinies, times, and situations. I just told you early on this podcast, I've been knowing the person I'm interviewing for my podcast next month since I was 7. That was a purpose and a design for this lady, this woman, to be a part of my life all these years. And I'm going on 40. Sometimes people are aligned with our purpose. We just don't think it. Sometimes it's the people that's in our lives that helps us grow. She was a big part of me growing into the woman that I am right now. And I want to talk about this. I will talk about this on next the show I have her on. But I wanted to say that little snippet because sometimes we don't think our destiny and our purpose is aligned to people, but it is. Because watching someone that watched you since you was 7 and knew of you, we didn't know each other, but I knew her because I knew her kids. And so I went to school with her kids and I grew up with her kids. So I knew her. But watching her to know who I was as a teenager, young adult, and to flourish into a mom and a woman of God, and her watch me flourish into that is a purpose. Think about the people that's in your life. And like I said, back to the high schoolers. They may be someone, I have a spiritual mom that I talk to probably once a month. I've been knowing her since I was 12. 12. And she's still a part of my life. Okay? She sends me money in the mail just because. She's just awesome. She's just amazing. I love that woman. But just because you're a teenager or a child, don't think your purpose is not designed and attached to something or someone. God has you in a purpose for a reason. God has you going through things, learning things for a reason, even if you're in school. If you're in college, that's the greatest time for you to really start digging deep on who you are, finding out who you are, because you're going into adulthood and you're finding out, and it's like new. So you're like, it's things that you could figure out. My son is 15. He's figuring out right now dating, and which he's really technically not dating, but figuring out what he like in a girl, what he don't like, the aspirations, that her attitude, what she look like, how she talks. He knows that now at the age of 15. So why wouldn't we know it at the age of 20 when we go to college at 18 to 20 and things like that? You're going to figure out what you like. You're going to figure out what careers you want, what jobs you want. Then let's go past that. You hit your 30s and you're like, oh, now life really has started. Am I still in my purpose? My point of saying this is, and I'm going to wrap this up. Everything you've done, I could tell you a story from childhood to now. Everything I've done led me to this and what I'm doing right now. I just didn't know it. It led me to my purpose. I want you guys to think back during this week after listening to this podcast. And this is homework if you want. And this is the breakthrough of the aha moment. Let's look back at your life, at what you actually do right now. And it is something that you was doing technically when you was a child or up until. Or maybe you found out later in college or sometime later. Or have you always inspired to be this person? If you went to college and you're doing something, have you always inspired to do that? Some way, somehow, God had designed you for that purpose regardless. You just didn't know it. I'll use my own testimony. I've always been the one that people and friends called for advice since I was young. Don't know why. I've always had wisdom at an early age. It's always been the thing. I've always been a person that was wiser than my age, that guided my friends and my family, whoever that wanted to call and say, Reba know the answer. Half the time I didn't know the answer. I was just guiding them because they called me and I felt like I was using the most wise decision. But that led me into what I do now. I advise people and coach people, and I am a life coach. This doesn't stop right here. I just don't stop being a life coach. I'm continuing to do what God is calling me to do. I want to be a speaker. I want to talk on platforms. I want to go around the world and speak in engagements. I want to help other people understand what their lives is about and how to be better people through Christ. Because there's a lot of coaches. There are a lot of life coaches. There are a lot of, when people hear life coach, they're like, everybody want to be a life coach. No, everybody is not licensed to be a life coach. And everybody technically say they're a life coach, but are you actually walking in the calling and the vision what a life coach is? Okay. You have to study. You have to do work. First of all, having a podcast is building. You have to study. You have to do work to have a podcast. It's not just coming on here and recording. Because that's the case. And you think you're going to listeners like that, you're not. This comes with a lot of work. Anything that you do is going to come with a lot of work. But it's going to be fulfilling. So my tidbit to you, my aha moment, my breakthrough would be, find out who you are and what your purpose and your calling is. And I will see you guys next week on the Breakthrough Podcast. Thank you for listening.